Hello guys, welcome to my channel. This is Nijisa, and as expected, huge nerfs for Ana. It's insane how much more nerf Ana got than all the other characters, which I don't really understand. Like, I look at some of these characters and their nerf are like a few damage points off their moves, which is so weird. And then Ana's is like, literally, you no longer get a follow-up attack. You no longer get a follow-up attack. You no longer get a follow-up attack. It's just so weird. Yeah. So let's go ahead and look at the patch note for Ana. Okay. So the first thing that they want to address is that Ana is a character who excels in mix-up using mids and low attacks from crouching. However, let me just say that Ana really doesn't have that many low attacks from crouching unless you're counting down 3 and down 4, but like basically full crouch down 4 2 is really the only option she kind of have that does big damage, right? Well, and they want her to now use more long range weapon because a long range attack because her weapon, right? And we're gonna go and cover all this. But I will say that this particular new move, I don't know if you guys can see this, but this up for oneplus 2, from my experience that I'm messing around with right now, has no actual benefit at all. It really isn't what they're telling you in this statement right here. It doesn't actually provide better or more stabilized wall carry. Even if it did, it's just doing like a weaker wall carry that's just not actually usable, because you can't even use this option when you're in like pleasure time or in CJM, which are the two stands that you're probably going to end up with when you use Hami 2-2 into a tailspin. So it doesn't make sense why they even say use this as a combo ender. It doesn't make sense. Okay, so I'll cover this move, very first one, right? So we'll go ahead and check that out. So like I said, just huge nerf all across the board for Ana. More than probably every character. I didn't look at every character, to be honest. I primarily look at the big offenders like Asuka, Brian, Lee, and a few of those characters, and they just like didn't really get nerfed much. And like, it's so insane, like how is that even possible? But then they took like tons of big impact move from Ana, which is really weird, right? So okay, I'm gonna go ahead and talk about down oneplus 2. All right, so down oneplus 2. So I'll give you the rundown. My initial thought was down oneplus 2 is ass, it sucks, it's useless. But then I was like, hey, you know what? Counter hit +6, normal hit +6. Yeah, it kind of sucks. The damage is really whack, right? Like at range 2, at like this range, you're better off just using down 4-4. It's much faster, right? It does a little bit less damage, 3 points less damage. It's less punishable. This is -15. This move is actually -18, which pretty much anybody can launch punish you at this point, right? So why would you use this move? There is actually a few reasons why this move it might be better sometimes, right? But I would still say at close range, I would prefer you to just use down 4-4, because why not, right? And then at long range, if you're any further, like from here, down 4-4 won't reach, right? But down oneplus 2 will still reach. So at long range, this is still good to use. I would still say that most people will still be able to launch you because it is -18, not -15. So people can do like different kind of option, right? Okay. And the reason why this is also good is it does track to Ana's weak side. So the only other reason to use this move is because if people walk left on you, this actually has good tracking to the left side. So this is the only one thing that I would like use it for. Or two things. Tracking to the left side and like just extremely long range low poke, right? Those are the only two reasons why. Because outside of that, it's pretty much garbage. It doesn't, like I said, like if you have a counter hit with the down 4/4, you at least get a follow-up attack. But if you get this thing counter hit, you don't get anything. You get +6. And with +6, you really don't have any mix anyways, because all of Ana's options, like from mix, just imagine this. You got +6. You're probably looking for down 4-2, probably down back 2, right? What else? Maybe 1+2. Let's see if this puts her in crouch. Yes, so if they're in crouch, yeah, you can use 1+2, because then most people's while rising will be 11 frame. So you're really like +7, right? Unless there's other people who just does duck jab, or like they have a while rising 10 frame, right? But yeah, so for the most part, I think down 1+2 is a pretty good addition versus like the next move that we're going to talk about, right? So I've already kind of explained up for 1+2 like really bad, right? And there's a lot of reason why I say that, because first of all, this move can only be used in the neutral, right? You really can't do this from CJM or, you know, pleasure time or anything like that, right? So, or Hemi, right? So the problem is they say that you should use this move for like wall carry, but how are you supposed to do that? Like, I know most people go with this generic option select, but just look at this option. How am I supposed to use that for wall carry? At that point, there's nothing you can do. Like most people would just do the transition stance into CJM, right? And then up 4-3, and this is how it usually ends, right? In my combo, I can do it, but it's really useless. So let me show you guys. This is why I think this combo, this is my combo that I normally do. I could add that into my combo, but it only does 62 damage, which is really weak compared to like my original combo, which is harder to do, but this does do 72 damage and it still has good wall carry. So I really don't know why anyone would ever use this move. It's also -14, you know, which I'm very disappointed that they didn't just give Ana like a option where she could just shoot the gun from the neutral. I was super disappointed when I saw down 1+2. I was like, oh yes, we can shoot the shotgun from neutral, but it ended up not being what it was. Okay, so the next part here is a bunch of nerf. Huge nerf, right? So this is really the big problem that I didn't agree with, is they took away Ana's counter hit 10 frame everything. Not just counter 10 frame into Hemi, into Hemi 1. This isn't just the only thing they took away, right? Because so if you look here, if you guys know anything about Tekken, Ana has always had a 10 frame counter hit wall splat, right? With the 2-4, right? Now she doesn't get a 2-4 counter hit wall splat anymore. I don't know why. She just doesn't get it anymore. She no longer gets a counter hit 10 frame into heat engager. It just doesn't make sense that people can think that the character is broken if she had this, when you have characters that are truly broken, like Lee, who is probably still broken. I haven't really looked at Lee's balance patch, but if you think that that was broken, imagine Lee doing this to you at the wall. Like, I'm gonna show you on a block normal hit first, so you guys understand. Like, if it's a normal hit, you can do this, which this should be the norm, right? It should be the norm. Why should he get a counter hit? Why is this a thing? This is 49 damage. Why is this a thing? Don't tell me, well, that's always been in the game. I hate when people say, well, that's always been in the game, because, well, Ana's 2-4 was always in the game. Counter hit launcher. Why can't it be in the game now? Right? And then Brian keeps this as well, which was surprising to me, because Like, if you're gonna take that away from Ana and then leave Brian with this, it didn't make any sense. That just doesn't make sense. Like, how are you gonna talk about balance and then you're going to take away that option from Ana, but leave it for like characters like Brian, and like Lee has something like that too, right? Law has something like that. I haven't checked Law. I don't know if they nerf him or not. Or Dragunov has something like that as well, so I don't know if they nerf those guys. See, that's the problem, right? But my point is, that is a huge nerf, right? So now, anytime you do any kind of like +1, like a +1 option, right? For example, anytime you do like a +1 option now, you no longer have a 10 frame trap, right? So there is a huge problem, right? Back in the days, we used to have the Magic 4 boom, right? If you guys remember Tekken 7, we used to have the Magic 4 for a like 10 frame, 11 frame trap, right? Where you can set them up, boom, and then get a combo, right? Before, I mean, this game, we don't actually get a combo, but we get a heat engager, which does decent damage, right? Now, we don't get either. So your 11 frame, you get this, which you either have to commit in order to get a combo, which is all launch punishable, because the first and the second move are both high, so they're launch punishable by ducking, and then the third hit is actually -15, so it's also launch punishable. So basically, you're risking your life to try to get a counter hit 11 frame launcher, which I guess it's fair, but at the same time, I mean, there's so many characters in this game that has like Magic 4 that actually does good damage with like knockdown, and they don't risk their life like that, right? So I think it's kind of bogus, right? Okay, so next is the down 1 to 4. In my opinion, this isn't that big of a deal. I don't find this like in theory, it's a huge deal, right? Like, it's a big nerf because now you no longer get a heat engager from it if you get a counter hit. And the fact that a lot of people actually gets like counter hit launchers in those 3 hit string options select, right? Like, I'll just show you guys an example, right? So the fact that this move no longer gives you the counter hit, right? Remember, if Tekken Season 2, this will give you a counter hit and you will get a heat engager, right? Just to let you guys know, this move is a high and they can actually duck it. Let me just show you the characters that are the big offenders that just keeps their options, that I don't understand how that is in this game and yet people think it's balanced. Like, how is this balanced when like Asuka still has 1-1-3? Look, this move is a mid, and it's safe. Mid, and it's safe. It's a 3 hit string. Mid, and it's safe. If you hit them with the final one, boom, you get a heat engager. Why is this a thing? I don't understand that. Like, she's literally safe, but she continues to get that. But Ana's is like, I mean, you can duck and launch her, so why like make it no longer a heat engager? Like, it doesn't make sense, right? And there's plenty of other characters that have 3 hit strings like that still gets a heat engager, right? And it just blows my mind, right? But my perspective of that, I don't see it as that big of a deal because I don't actually use this that much to get the reward from that, because it's not that, like, it's not an option that you know that you can just get the read on all the time, right? It's like sometimes you hit, sometimes you miss, right? It's like anything else, but it's more common to miss, right? Because the reason why I think they did that is because they feel like, whoa, you know, she has a hammy cancel, right? And when you go into hammy cancel, basically you give up your turn, right? That's all. So you either give up your turn or you throw this out and you try to get a heat engager, right? Which I don't see how that is any advantageful versus like characters like Asuka, right, where she can go into 1-1-1-1-3 and still get a mix-up even after she throws out the 3. Yeah. So the next one is also a big nerf, because now down back 4 no longer also give you a heat engager. So basically they're basically taking away a lot of Ana's option into heat engagers, as you guys can already see, right? So 2-4-1 no longer gives you a heat engager, right? Down 4-1-2-4 no longer give you a heat engager on counter hit as well, and now down back 4 no longer gives you a heat engager as well. So like, I don't know if this is that big for me. I think it's a big deal overall. Like, it helps a lot when you have it, but when you're playing online against laggy players, sometimes they just block it anyways. You know what I mean? So my point is, the big frame advantage is gone, so now they can just duck jab you out of the majority of your option select, right? So now let's just say, hey, even if you get them on counter hit, your opponent just wants to punish you with a duck jab. So now you basically have one option, really. Well, actually, the crazy thing is the opponent now is standing as well, if I remember correctly. Let's see. Yeah, they remain standing as well now, so they actually can still duck jab you. So the goal is still to duck jab though, because the reason why you want to duck jab is because Ana still has frame trap for the high option select, right? So the thing is, now if you did this, right, so this will beat out 3 option now. So duck jab basically beats out 3 options now, as they always have. But even on counter hit now, duck jab beats out 3 option. So basically, duck jab or step, that's it. Duck jab or step. So you mean there's not even a 3-way mix anymore. It's like, I mean, before there used to be more of a mix, right? Because she's plus a lot, I think like 14, but then you get a guarantee option anyways. So you always just go for the 1, right? But okay. So yeah, so huge nerf as well, that part. So you're losing like a good chunk of damage, right? And obviously, I'll show you guys later, but Hammy 1 also got nerf as well. Okay, so next, the 4-4-2 being nerfed a tad, you know, like, let's be real, right? Like, 4-4-2 has been nerfed a lot from Tekken 7 to Tekken 8, right? The range is good. I'm not gonna lie, I think the range is really good. But now it just no longer gives you a follow-up. You really just don't get a follow-up. But what you do get, I don't even think you can full crouch mix in this scenario. Yeah, you cannot even full crouch mix in this scenario. So yeah, it's really like I don't know. It basically, if you hit them with 4-4-2, it's in a situation where I feel like it's not very good to just run up and approach, because they could probably just spring kick you, or you can set up a spring kick option now a lot because they're flat on their back now instead of like on their side like the other way. So yeah, I think yeah, 4-4-2 got a little bit of nerf, but it's more of like a one-hit nerf. I mean, most of her move are like one hit, but then some of them are like the heat engager, right? Okay, so some of these we don't really need to look at because they're just like frame changes, right? So full crouch down 4-1 now is -12 instead of 10. Most people always punish with 10, even if they are -12. For example, like Ana, she doesn't have a 12 frame anyway, so it's the same thing, not too big of a deal. Certain characters, it's a big deal, right? They have like wall splatting 12 frame, which is a big deal. But for Ana, like, this doesn't matter too much. But obviously you're not gonna fight Ana because Ana is one of the most useless 10 to like 13 frame you know, punishments. So yeah. Okay, full crouch down 4-2. Let's be honest, it says adjust the tracking and hit detection to make it easier to evade with lateral movement. If anybody knows how to play Tekken, you guys all know that by moving, you're realigning yourself. So if you constantly do this, you're gonna always realign yourself. Doesn't matter how freaking far your opponent steps. This is the way that it should move, right? Yeah, you see? Wow, I said that, but look. I guess even then, you know. But yeah, you see, like if you keep going, you're gonna eventually realign yourself, right? But my point is, yes, the nerf, it is a big nerf to the tracking, but you could still realign yourself. It's not like you're completely doomed and you can't use it, right? You could obviously still try to realign yourself. Okay, so hammer chance recovery time whiff by 5 increase. So basically, now if you whiff with the hammer 1, you're vulnerable for 5 extra frames. So way more dangerous to use this now. So you're going to whiff a lot longer, basically. Like if people are calling it out, most people are going to launch punish you regardless anyways. Like it's not like they're not, right? And then they fix up forward 3 to no longer balcony break. Heat and timer will be consumed. The heat timer would be consumed. Oh, I don't know. I guess they fix it so that it won't be consumed, I guess. This is also a lie right here. I don't think this makes any sense. It says for forward 3 was incorrectly starting crouching at 1 frame. Now change begin at 25 frames. This is completely fake because there's no way you can determine for forward 3 was coming unless they're talking about the second version. They're talking about this part, the second part, which should start immediately actually. Yeah, so basically now they're saying it no longer high crush until your attack hits. So basically it no longer high crush at all until your attack hits, meaning you will never crush a high unless your attack hits first. So there's no point in even having a high crush on that property anymore, which makes no sense. Why would that be? I don't understand. Yeah. Okay. And then we're pretty much gotten to the end here. Adjust the collision detection with basically they're fixing stuff so that there won't be a collision where you're going past your opponent for these 2 options here. That's pretty much it. And then I'll try to check something out and then I will close it out. Of course, everyone wants to know the answer to does this give a combo? And the answer is no, it still doesn't give a combo.